Welcome back to Palangi 21. Today I will show you a 2023 Japanese drama film titled Monster. Minato lives with his mother Saori. They watch as a building caught fire. Suddenly Minato asks his mother if she thinks a person would still be human if they had a pig's brain. Saori doesn't understand what he's talking about, and asks who told him that. Minato says that his teacher Hori told him. When she is working, she hears that the building that burned down yesterday housed a hostess bar, and Hori was seen at that place. At home, Saori finds Minato cutting his own hair. Minato says that his hair violates school rules. The next day, Saori finds Minato missing one of his sneakers. Saori and Minato celebrate the birthday of Minato's father who has died. Minato asks what his father will look like if he is reborn. Saori says that his reborn father will take the form of something more noble, like a horse. She asks Minato to tell his father about school, and Minato wants some privacy. In the morning, Saori finds Minato not wanting to get up to go to school. She finds his drinking bottle filled with dirt, and Minato replies it's for a science experiment. That night, Minato hasn't come home yet, and a worried Saori goes looking for him. Saori finds him in an abandoned train tunnel singing "Who's the Monster?" Saori takes Minato home and sees that Minato hurt his ear. She tells him about Minato's father, and promised him that she would hang in there until Minato married a woman and had his own family. Minato suddenly leaps from the car. Saori takes him to the doctor to do a CT scan. On the way home, Minato asks if Saori knows the test result. Saori says there is nothing wrong with him. Minato suddenly stops, and Saori starts to worry and ask everything to find out more about whether he was being bullied at school. Minato replies that his brain had been swapped with a pig's brain. He continues that he's weird and he's a monster. Saori chases him and asks who told him that. Minato replies his teacher Hori. Saori goes to school and meets Principal Fushimi. She tells her everything Minato had told her. In the middle, Fushimi is replaced by another teacher, because she had something to do, something about her grandchild recently dying in an accident. The next day, Saori returns to school and has a meeting with the principal and Hori. They say it was just a misunderstanding and want to apologize to Minato. Saori feels dissatisfied, because she thinks that Hori had hurt Minato. Fushimi hopes she won't make a big deal out of this. However, Saori continues to pressure Hori and asks if Hori was aware of his actions. Hori angrily says that Saori as a single mother is too overprotective, but then they force him to immediately apologize to Saori. At the supermarket, Saori sees Fushimi tripping over a girl who is running there. At home, Saori becomes worried about Minato who stays silent. She asks what is wrong with him, and did his teacher say anything to him. The next day, she returns to school and expresses her concerns. There is no certainty, and she thinks about Minato changing schools. She thinks that Fushimi is covering up Hori's mistakes, and hopes to see Hori again. Fushimi says Hori had left, but Saori knows she is lying. A desperate Saori hopes that Fushimi can do something because she is just worried about her son's condition. When Fushimi can only answer with the notes provided, Saori becomes angry. Saori then finds out that they haven't fired Hori. Hori says that Minato had bullied his classmate Yori. Saori doesn't believe him, and says that she knows Hori visited the hostess bar and she accuses him of setting the building on fire. She asks if his brain had been replaced with a pig's brain. Saori visits Yori's house, and finds one of Minato's sneakers. Despite his awkward behavior, Yori seems fond of and concerned for Minato. She then asks if Yori was bullied at school. The next day, there is a meeting between Saori, Yori and the faculty. Yori says that he was never bullied by Minato, in contrast to what Hori said that Minato often bullied him. Yori also admits that Hori often hit Minato, but his classmates were afraid to say so. Privately, Saori tells Fushimi that she knew it was her husband who accidentally ran over her grandchild. She says that she feels the same way about her son, because she is just trying to protect him. Hori is fired from school, and the matter is published in the newspapers. But the problem doesn't stop there. Saori finds that Minato had fallen down the stairs after he ran away from Hori. When she gets there, she finds Minato locked himself in the bathroom. At home, Minato says he saw his father in his dream, and his father said, "Thank you for everything," and loved them both. Saori feels like she wasn't good enough at looking after Minato. Minato wonders what he will become if he is reborn. He holds her hand and tells Saori not to feel guilty because of him. When Saori wakes up in the morning, she finds that Minato has disappeared. The film scene changes to Hori before the incident with Minato. Hori is on a date with his girlfriend when he watches the building burning. At school, he helps Yori to put on his shoes after he fell. Later, he is warned by another teacher that the students' parents were monsters, because they were more cruel than the students. Fushimi returns to work after what happened to her grandchild. In class, he finds Minato throwing his classmates' belongings. When he tries to stop him, he accidentally hits Minato and makes his nose bleed. He tells him to apologize to his classmates. Later, his girlfriend says that Saori is a single mother, therefore she is overprotective. She says not to think too much about it. When Saori begins inquiring about her son, the faculty pressures Hori to let them handle it to protect the reputation of the faculty. Later, he finds out from another teacher that the one who ran over her grandchild was not Fushimi's husband but Fushimi herself. Hori pays a visit to Yori's house, where he discovers his father Kiyotaka is a delusional alcoholic. Kiyotaka also tells him that Yori was a monster, because his brain was a pig's brain. The next day, he finds Minato coming out of the bathroom, and finds Yori locked there. He receives a report from one of students Kita that Minato had played with a dead cat. After he is accused of hurting Minato, he tries to convince Kita to tell Fushimi that Minato probably killed the cat, but Kita says that she never said that. Saori hires a lawyer, and the faculty is forced to fire Hori. Hori tries to convince Fushimi that he never did anything. Fushimi says that she knew, and Hori is used as a scapegoat. Before leaving, he confronts Fushimi, and asks who was driving the car. He knows that Fushimi as the principal must protect her name and position. At home, he is harassed by journalists, and his girlfriend, who can't stand it, finally leaves him. He returns to the school to confront Minato. He asks if he didn't do something to him. Minato nods, but then he falls down the stairs, and people think Hori pushed him. He contemplates jumping from the roof of the school. During the rainstorm, Hori notices a typo in some of Yori's old homework that seems to spell out Minato's name. Realizing the two boys were actually friends, Hori rushes to the Mugino household to apologize. When Saori tells him Minato is missing, they both decide to look for Minato. On the way, they are stopped because there is a mudslide. They both decide to walk, and go to the train tunnel to find him. They find an abandoned railcar nearly buried in mud, but when they open it they only find Minato's abandoned poncho. A final flashback begins, showing school principal Fushimi visiting her husband in prison. They share stories about their grandchild. Later, Fushimi notices Yori running away from the hostess club with a lighter. At school, Yori is regularly picked on by the other boys. They push Yori to the ground, and Hori helps him. When Minato and Yori are assigned to return the tambourine to the music room, they share a conversation, and it seems they are friends. Yori shares his snack, and tells him to be careful not to touch him, because he might catch a disease. Yori plays with Minato's hair. When they hear a voice, Minato tells Yori to stop, and not to talk to him in class. At home, Minato cuts his own hair. The boys continue to bully Yori by dirtying his desk. They ask Minato to do the same. They say that Yori looks like a girl. As they continue to taunt Yori, Minato starts throwing his classmates' belongings. Hori comes, and thinks that Minato is a bully. Later, Minato meets with Yori. He apologizes for what happened today, and lends him one of his sneakers. The two of them go to play on the abandoned railcar. They find there is a gate blocking them, and Yori says this is the end of the line. The next day, Minato and Yori find a dead cat. Yori says that if they leave it like that the cat will never be reborn. They decide to cremate the cat. Later, Minato finds Yori locked in the bathroom, but he refuses to help him because he is afraid of being seen by the other boys. Hori comes and helps Yori. Minato asks Yori why he didn't tell Hori. Yori replies that Hori would tell him to act like a man. Minato asks if he doesn't want to act like a man, and Yori replies that he has a pig's brain. His father promised to cure him, and then his mother will return. Minato thinks that Yori has no disease. Minato then says that his father died with a woman while he was on vacation, indicating that his father was having an affair with another woman. The two of them become closer and often spend time with each other. One day, Yori says that he is going to transfer school to his grandmother's place, and Minato doesn't want him to go. Yori hugs him, but Minato freaks out and pushes him away. The next day, Yori is being bullied again by other boys, and Minato helps him. They start making fun of Minato. Minato, who is annoyed, then fights with Yori. Hori finds them fighting, and tells them to shake hands and make up. Minato returns to the abandoned railcar and contacted Yori. Minato walks in the tunnel and Yori waits for him outside the tunnel, but a worried Saori finds him first and Yori leaves. In the car, he apologizes for not being like his father. Saori says that she will look after Minato until Minato marries a woman. Minato calls Yori and doesn't get an answer, so he leaps from the car. Minato is distressed that his feelings are becoming romantic and that he is not becoming a worthy son to his father. One night when he goes to Yori's house, he and Kiyotaka declare that Yori has been cured. Yori says there is a girl who he liked, and thanks him for playing with him. But then, Yori comes out of the house and says that he was lying. Kiyotaka immediately takes him inside and punishes him. At school, Minato gets a new teacher to replace Hori. After he falls down the stairs and runs from Hori, he hears what Hori has been through. He feels guilty and goes to the balcony and meets Fushimi. Minato says that he lied and Hori didn't do anything wrong. Fushimi also admits that she had lied. Fushimi teaches Minato how to play music. Minato admits he likes someone, but he couldn't tell anyone, so he lied. He says that he will never be happy. Fushimi tells him it is nonsense, since true happiness is something anyone can have. During the rainstorm, Minato finds Yori abandoned, fully clothed in his bathtub, and the two escape to the abandoned railcar. Meanwhile, Saori and Hori search for Minato's whereabouts. After the rain subsides, Minato and Yori emerge from the bottom of the railcar. Yori asks if they have been reborn. Minato says they weren't and they were still the same. The gate blocking them is gone, and they run through a field together freely. This film seems like a drama film about troubled teenager, but after watching this film it turns out it is deeper than that. It started with Minato behaving strangely, cutting his own hair, losing one shoe, and being silent when his mother Saori asked about his school. Saori was convinced that something was up with Minato, so she continued to chase her son until he admitted that he was physically attacked by his teacher Hori. Saori heard and saw enough, and she did whatever she could to protect her son. At this point, the film's plot shifts focus to Hori's point of view. Minato hadn't told his mother the truth. Many parties were involved behind it all, such as his classmate Yori, Yori's father, and some of the bullies at school. You learn more about what really happened with Minato and Yori. The film is divided into several points of view, and provides a detailed description of the problems that occur in the film. The problems seen at the beginning of the film are not what they seem. Yori's father rejected his son for acting like a girl and said that he had a pig's brain. Minato himself wasn't sure about his growing feelings for Yori. Everyone around them seemed to tell them that they had to act like a man, marry a woman, and therefore they would be happy. These small actions and words had a huge impact on Minato and Yori. So who is the monster? If you watch this film you will get a different point of view from each character, and the film encourages viewers to make their own judgments or perhaps even share the impossible emotional burdens of these characters. An incredibly well-constructed film that explores the complexities of how simple words and actions affect people in unexpected ways. I like the complex story, the stunning acting, and the beautiful music. The end of this film is very touching, because they were able to affirm who they were, that they came into their own. The scene that impressed me was Minato's conversation with Fushimi, where she told Minato that happiness is something anyone can have. I could feel how this film really influenced me and the story connected with me. Also, I could feel what Minato and Yori were thinking and doing. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification.